Hello and welcome back, fellow bad strategists. We're here again in Shadow Empire, continuing our assault gun rush. We've had to produce tanks prematurely, but the ability to do so is a consequence of this rush, so the tank defense, it's something that happens. We were fortunate. We had a special fate card that gave us the resources to be able to support these tanks, even though it is so early on. We haven't even been able to build a recycling facility. Usually this rush is done off of a single recycling facility, but we haven't been able to do that. I think what we're gonna do, because we really need to deal with our fuel issues, is we're gonna sell our water and our rare metals.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir. Yes, sir.
And
Roger
we're
that,
going
sir.
to nationalize our scavenging facility, because and normally you wouldn't want to do that because there are ruins around, but we don't want to build the road. We don't want to waste the IP building the road, and this will give us more fuel and more metal, and we probably need both of those, though mostly the fuel. Keep an eye on these. You can only buy them so quickly. There's only so much fuel you can buy per turn, so if you end up in a place
Yes,
where you
sir.
don't have enough
Roger
fuel,
that,
it
sir.
may be that you can't even buy enough with all the credits you have to make up for the deficit. Oh, we're gonna meet the CEO.
Aye, aye,
That'll
sir.
boost our government. That'll be real good. Real good. Although our government's basically where we need it to be at 62, and we've unlocked bureaucracy. Most of these aren't gonna matter. Central computing will be huge, but state companies is more of a mid-game thing when you have the factories to take advantage of it. So it doesn't hugely matter, but we're gonna do it anyways. Yeah, hopefully we discover assault guns this turn. Let's see what happens. Let's see how this raider attack on us progresses. They can pretty well beat most of our weak militia, but as we win more armored battles, their ability to fight our militia will decline. So part of the idea of this rush is that you use defensive infantry, weak, cheap defensive infantry, and heavy armor. The heavy armor breaks the enemy. The weak defensive infantry either soak hits if you use lightly armored tanks, which I don't recommend, but it's an option, or they operate in a more defensive role, just keeping the low readiness, low morale enemies from pushing back at you and punishing you for only having a couple of battalions, I guess they are, of actual usable troops. Alright, the GR grade machine guns are doing exactly what we wanted them to do. These guys have cut themselves off. I'd be tempted to hit this grouping behind them and to have them encircled and then to attack them. However, I'm not actually convinced we could bring them down with just our infantry, because we have pretty poor infantry, if we're being honest. Yeah, we killed the tin tanks. That's probably referring to rovers. They're the assault guns. These are what we want. These are half-price medium tanks. The reason they're half price is because they have half the hard attack value, and hard defense is based off of hard attack, right? It's based off of firepower. So they are actually something like twice as susceptible to hard attacks. They're half as resilient against hard attacks, which is what makes them fragile. But if we slap heavy armor on them, that may not matter too much. Increase corporate tax, that's good to see. Always open the window. Boop-a-doo. Government's nice and high. 66 is good. Okay. We're gonna flop this round fully into, well, let's check. He's receiving 184 and he needs 120, so we could just go like 80% into design, because 184, 120, 160, he'll generate about 160, should be more than enough to develop the first assault gun. You want the biggest gun because it raises your defense value to have a bigger gun. Also, assault, because they have half the hard attack, you don't generally want to slap hard attack weapons on assault guns. Maybe you could justify it because they are half price, so maybe it's worth it if you want to make a really tanky unit that can't die, that's cheap. but we're going to go with a big heavy gun to maximize our defense and to maximize our attack. And then we're going to go with 150mm steel plating, which will reduce the enemy defense. The enemy heart attack value will be reduced to less than 1/7 of its starting value, and this will increase our hit points a lot. And then we're going to go with a medium diesel engine. I want to do a light diesel engine, but what we're going to do is we're going to roll a medium engine because we don't want this to be immobile, and we're going to check if the engine score is good enough. We'll re-roll it with a light diesel engine, and that will be more fuel efficient, and it will be cheaper, but we can't, it might be immobile with light diesel engine, so we have to start medium.
Affirmative.
Okay, this is, we could forbid our troops. We do want fist value, but we don't want that. So we're going to say no because I don't really want to do anything that lowers government. Fist is relatively easy to get up in the right situation. Fist is a weird one because fist is a value you can raise easily if you have lots of neighbors, but you can't raise it easily if you have no neighbors. Fist is entirely, it's really entirely about your interactions with other factions. Okay, so we can crush them. So what we're going to do is we're going to push these guys forward. Their screen, if they go down, that's fine. We're going to smash these dudes.
Bring in the
We
tank.
should have checked our readiness first.
Operation
Don't attack
successful.
without checking readiness. It's a terrible idea, and I do it far too often. Yeah, readiness is 96%. We're in good shape. And so then we'll push in here with all these dudes, and hopefully we break them.
Let's go. Get out!
Enemies are less likely to retreat when they're encircled, so that's actually something to consider, is we actually didn't have stupendously good odds there, because them being encircled made it unlikely they would fall back. I think, just to be safe, and because it'll be useful, we'll get 100 MGs. These machine guns, we can push them up into the gap here, or somewhere. They should defend very well. Machine guns are also a unit that defend using their firepower, right? Because they don't have armor to reduce the enemy attack, but because machine guns have a high firepower value, even though they're technically half the strength of an infantry battalion, they defend more efficiently because they're soft targets with a high soft defense. Wow, actually 20 soft attack, 81 soft defense. Let me see that. Yeah, I kind of forgot that that infantry units have double the soft defense that they have soft attack, because armored units have double the attack that they have defense. So it's a funny reversal, but that's why MGs are so good, because they're soft targets with high soft defense. Okay. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We have our tanks are winning all the battles. We don't really. I guess we're just gonna end the turn here. We don't like that they're so close. They're raising our danger. Our people are getting unhappy. It's not good for us, per se. But we're at least winning slowly. We're slowly building up an advantage. They can't reinforce as quickly as we're killing. And that will be even more true as their morale starts to break and we can push forward with our infantry. Remember, don't attack with your infantry if you can, if the odds aren't very, very favorable. 10-to-1 odds are good. 5-to-1 odds are about the minimum you want to attack with. Some of the odds calculations are wrong because your recon is inadequate. Sometimes they're wrong because they're not taking into account morale properly. Sometimes they're wrong for any number of reasons, but you don't want to be attacking frequently. This is a defensive game. You lose a lot of readiness when you attack. The readiness penalty is only 2/3 of what it would be normally when you're defending. You have less of a readiness penalty when defending. Oh, what did they do? Oh, we killed 600 and lost nothing. So the Galactic Republic machine guns are doing good. They killed a lot of our artillery, and that's because we had that reckless assault there, where it was 10-to-1, but they don't rout easily because they were encircled. So the odds calculation probably didn't take that into account. New model of the Zion, cool. Let's see what the Zion looks like. Ooh, 101 average, dead average. We're gonna use it. It's got kind of low stats otherwise. If we compare it to our light tanks, the Crusader, it has slightly more soft attack, slightly more hard attack, hard defense. It has slightly more HP, but it has considerably thicker armor, so it provides a significantly stronger debuff to enemy troops. And even though we would love like 115 structural, we're gonna use it. You shouldn't roll and then be dissatisfied with the structural. You use what you have, and if you really want something else, you go for it. You keep going for it behind using what you have. You can't really afford to delay and to go for the hope of rolling well in the future. Small business, this is technically better, but we might not get the full benefit from it. I'm tempted to take it, but I'm actually... No, we'll benefit a lot more right now from the Fist rating, so we'll take Fist. Yeah, Fist is up to 60, which maybe we'll get these, which would be really good. All of these are good Fist perks. Really, with government, initially we only care about bureaucracy and central computing. Later on we'll care about the rest of it, but... Okay. Now is the time to begin weaning off of model design, moving away from model design. This guy is not very competent, so we're not concerned about leveling him up. If we were concerned about leveling him up, we would try to make sure that every single round he completed a research, because that means he made a roll, and that will help him level up faster. But he's kind of garbage, and he was kind of a temporary person anyways, so what we'll do... We're just going to have him. We're just going to go 50-50 discovery, development. Well, maybe we'll go a little heavier in the design. We don't really want to worry about him too much now, though. Motorbikes are potentially good, so we'll grab them. They're probably not what we should be going for. We should be going for something else, like improving our infantry or our MGs or something. But we'll go for motorbikes, and we will form a new organization. And it will be an interior council, because we need tax money. Tax money is what we need. Also, we're in ruins. We do not need economic council for prospecting. We got all of what we need now, and even if you don't have ruins around you, you probably still have scav salvage on your capital tile if you nationalize your recycling center, so you can get away with putting off the economic council, but you can't really get away with putting off the interior council, because you need leaders and you need tax money, and that's what the interior council gives you. National budget. Okay, so by choosing the national budget, we lowered model design a little bit, down to 67%, without upsetting the model design person. We're now going to lower it even more, and this will upset them, but if you wanted to keep them happy, you might inch it down and have their mood recover between doing it. And then I think we'll do something like that. We may inch model design down further, but you want a lot of Supreme Council stuff because you want a lot of power points. Maybe we'll do a little bit more favorable to the Interior Council, something like that, and...
Affirmative.
Yeah. We'll need to assign an Interior Council Director next turn. We're going to save all of our remaining power points. We're not going to do any more Meet the CEO. We're good on that for now. You can do it like 3 times. But we're going to hold off for the time being because it won't provide an immediate benefit. And this should clear them out.
Bring in the tank! Operation successful.
Yeah, that was pretty effective. They were also starved and low on ammo and all that stuff, and their readiness was depleted. Our tanks are up to 67. You can easily get tanks to very, very high levels of XP, up to 90 even, and that's pretty impressive. We're going to drop them in MG there with some support. Usually it's hardest for them to attack on your flanks because they don't have a surround on them. They don't have the like concave bonus or whatever it is. So having weaker flanking units is usually okay. This guy's more threatened than that one, and we're going to leave one in our city just in case, because Sometimes the enemy is fast, and they will snipe your cities if they see a way of doing it. I guess, you know what, I'm gonna call it here, and next time we will produce our assault guns. The rush is finally here. What round is it? I don't know. We'll see. Bye.